The fresh breeze cools my sweat as I step on deck. It's a rough black sea, leaving port, green on lead, sea ahead. As a bow lams into a wave, the spray bites cold into my skin. We become one, a man and his ship. The force is strong, the bond is life, trust is to the death. Time stops, dimensions change. The sea, it rules. We're at its mercy. Just a man and his ship. Just a ship and its man. Balkan Shipyards, guys. Hi all, Balkan Bay Sailing School, welcome back. I'm Rail, President of Balkan Shipyards, and this is an episode of a sea mess up that I did. Because I woke up at 6 and Bucky Pucks was still closed. So I went to the playground, and then at the playground I climbed all over the walls. There's walls inside the ship over there, yes? Where it says Stanley Playground. And I love this place. This is an amazing tool, guys. I love this tool. I use it all the time. If you want to build, if you any type of a woodworker, you get one like that. It cuts down on noise and on power tools and on everything. You can use that tool to do so much stuff. It's ridiculous. So then we come to. So I climbed all around the walls inside the thing. There's climbing walls inside the ship, in the Stanley Playground, and then I walk. I come into the port of Talivo and I walk around and I go through my shipyard. I see that my hull is still there. I come to Bucky Bucks. It's 9 in the morning. I'm hanging out. A few little optimists sailing in the bay. And I have my smoke, I have my drink, I do whatever I do. And I sit on my list. And I make my list. So, okay. Cherbourg. 2. So there's going to be 2 incidents in Cherbourg, France. This is because I leave from Poole. I bought baby Mana in Poole, England, South England. So I got to cross the channel and I go to Cherbourg. It's a 60-mile sail or something. It's actually not far. So I sail into Cherbourg. I match my colors. I come green on green and I go in. I'm all good. There was a long kind of basin. It was a very interesting place to come into because I think it was a warship place. So it's a big place. I mean, there's a lot of. It's a real cool marina. So I head into the yacht club, let's call it, because there's like this long thing over here for ships or something. I don't know what it was. And I'll go in there. So I tap on the pontoon, okay? I tap to a floating pontoon and I pay them whatever I pay them. The next day, now they charging us 20-something euro, I don't remember. Now I'm tight on cash. I got when I go sailing, I usually got like 1,000 euro that should go for about 3 months. So I don't like paying us 25 euro a night because I think it's too much. Because the boat is mine. They don't own the boat. If they owned the boat, I would pay them that much. But it's my boat. So then I come out of there. Because over here there's people on anchor. So I'm going to do that too. Now I've anchored quite a lot. And I know how to anchor. I've anchored in Poole a lot. And I know how to anchor. I know how to drive back on engine and get that anchor to dig in. And I do that stuff. And I know how much I'm letting out and stuff. And I do 3 to 1 if it's nice. And I do 5 if it's not so nice. And I do 7 if it's like really bad. 1 to 7, that would be when you anchor in. Yeah. Anchoring is science. You got to choose your bottom. You got to choose your anchor according to your bottom. to the bottom, what you're going to flow into the seabed, what type of a seabed is it under you, and what anchor are you going to use. And then you have to choose how much load, or what type of load, and how much of it you're going to flow out. So the minimum would be 3 to 1. So if you're in 3 meters water, then you're flowing out 9. It gets a lot very fast. Don't worry about it, okay? Because what happens when what happens when you're parking in 12 meter water and it's blowing? You have to do 12 times 5. That's 1 million. Welcome to Balkan Shipyards, guys. Got some ground tackle behind me. We'll go over it in a second. I'll show you why we call it Balkan Shipyards. Welcome to the Balkan, guys. I know, it's only -7. A lot of snow. This is from today. It started snowing this morning. Ridiculous stuff. Anyway, guys, let's go back to business. Okay, so here's the boat. Now this is how I'm glassing, and I'm going to glass the whole boat this way. First, I'll quickly say what am I doing exactly is I'm doing the hard sections first, fiberglass and all, and then I'll do the whole deck in one go. But what I'm doing is I put my epoxy down, I put the glass, I put on the epoxy, and immediately I prime. I've spoken about this in a previous video. I've done a lot of adhesion tests, and it is strong stuff. It bonds really well. This epoxy primer for metal 2-pack bonds to the epoxy like no one's business. Here's my little compartment. That's where I'll keep my sheet, junk rig sheet. It's a very long sheet, so I need a place to put it. I can have a compass, binoculars. I can have all kinds of stuff for help me find my way. Tobacco, I don't know, whatever I want. Bottle of water. And basically I'm ready to do the deck. This has already been sanded, you can see it, and it sands so easy. It's such a pleasure to sand compared to epoxy. Doesn't gum up the paper, and you can just hit it hard, and it works. It's a bond, and it fills the weave. Almost no weave over here, no squares, no fiberglass, so you don't dig into the glass, and you get a much better result. Let's go over anchors. Okay, so there's a million types of anchors, and here's 3 types. I love this thing, man. This is a seaplane anchor. I don't know where it was developed. This one is a North Hill R6, 15 pound, hot dip galvanized, and this thing bites in 80% of the conditions. These huge flukes don't drag at all. You can anchor in sand and this thing holds. It's made for a 22-foot boat. I've used it on my mono, baby mono, when I came from England. I've used it on my big pro, crystal clear, and I've used it on make or break, which is he's way over. He's too much for make or break, but that's what I got. I love this thing. So this would be a fisherman type. It folds, okay? This thing, you unclick it and it lies down against it, and then the anchor can be put away very nicely. Next anchor, which I use a lot, I bought him for make or break. He's I don't remember, I think he's a 4 pound. He's the Guardian G7, so he's a fortress, 100% aluminium. Good quality anchor, very light. This thing is under 2 kilos. It's ridiculous. It's like you pick it up, it's like a cup of beer. So I really like this anchor. I use it a lot. It's a Danforth type, and it bites in sand like no one's business. But Danforths are amazing. I love them. This anchor I've never used. It's been given to me. It's a good anchor. It's a good old French anchor. It's double the weight. This is a 4 kilo versus a 2. It's got a few features to it which I like. This theoretically is for if you drive forward, then you can unhook your anchor. I've never used this particular anchor. It was given to me, so Can't really say anything about it, but I suppose they would hold about the same. Maybe the Danforth, maybe the Fortress would hold better since it's got bigger flukes. Okay, fluke area is what you want on an anchor. The more you got, the better it is. You want to have chain. Never put your load onto your anchor. That's not seamanship. I've seen people do it. It's usually fishermen, guys with small boats. They don't really know what they're doing sometimes, and they do stupid stuff. You need chain. Well, this is properly done, spliced beautifully. A real nice splice job over here. And this anchor I trust. This will go into the Hawaii 30, and I'll get a bigger Fortress. I'll get a heavier one, maybe the FX11 or something of that sort. Nylon rod, 10mm, but the real stuff. 3 strand, that's what you want to have. It's got a lot of flex in it, and it works beautifully. Okay, so that's for anchors. There's many more types of anchor. I used to have a CQR as my main anchor on Baby Mana on her bow with 35 meters of chain. I will see what I'll do when I go cruising with this boat. I'll definitely have the bigger Fortress. I'll definitely have this thing because this is an unbelievable anchor. So Balkan Bay Navy School, if we're talking about ground tackle, if we're talking about how I messed up anchoring, then I might as well go into further detail. For the guys that know how to do the business, then cool, keep doing your stuff. Anybody new over here, anybody new to anchoring, anybody that wants to learn how to drop a hook and feel safe and go to sleep, you know, and wake up in the morning where he put the hook, then there's things that you have to do. There's a procedure, okay? I'm going to just touch it, and I please, okay, I'm just asking you to please go into the stuff with much deeper, okay? Read about it, learn it, because anchoring is serious stuff. It's the best thing in sailing, okay? It's the best of the best, okay? Anchoring just opens up just like new horizons. I mean, you don't need marinas and all that mess. You can enjoy sailing, you can enjoy anchoring, you can have so much cruising turns into just a different ball game when you deploy a hook properly. So please guys, all the best, go into it, check it out. This is what I do, okay? So here we go. Here's a proa, crab claw rigged, okay? The depth of the water, I don't know how much it is, 5 meters. This boat has dropped 3 to 1 because it's nice conditions, fair and square. There's no wind, there's no wave, it's all nice, okay? So that's the minimum you'll drop, is a 3 to 1, okay? Now, what holds the anchor is the vertical pull. The vertical pull that is created by the weight of the chain. That's why you must have chain close to your anchor, and if you have a full chain rod, then good on you, even better, okay? So the vertical pull holds the anchor because your chain holds your anchor. Now let's go over this. So more chain is better. So I use, on this anchor I've got 3 meters of chain. That's the minimum I'll take. That one was given to me, it's got a 2 on it. I might extend it, we'll see what we'll do. But you want to have at least 3 meters, 10 feet roughly, of chain. You want to have about 35 meters of load. That's the way I work. All chain is best. I've anchored a lot with all chain and it's nice stuff. And in rocky bottom, yeah, use only chain. Chafe is a huge problem. If your rope, if the rope is chafing on a rock, it's going to snap. You're going to find yourself on shore. Okay, only chain. If there's rocks underneath you, if it's not only a sand bottom, nice and clean, don't take chances, because you don't know where your boat's going to swing, okay? There might be a lock over there, but you might find yourself tomorrow morning over there and not here where you dropped the hook originally, because you've swung around your hook and you've gone onto that lock and your rope's been chafing all night long, okay? Calculate for high tide, okay? Doesn't matter you came in this afternoon and there's 2 meters of water under you, but what's going to happen tonight when the tide comes in? Is it going to go to 4? Is it going to go to 6? If it's going to go to 6, then you calculate for 6, okay? So then you'll need to know, you need an almanac, and you'll need to know the tides of the area, okay? So you have to do that too. Choose your anchorage, okay? Different boats swing in different ways. Stay with your pack. Motorboats are more above the water and less under the water. Yachts or sailboats are more under the water and less above the water. So these boats will swing in different ways, because the swing is a result of either current or wind. But any way it is, they don't swing the same. Motorboats will swing in a certain way and sailboats will swing in a different way. And if you put your sailboat between a bunch of motorboats, you're going to have an issue. Somebody's going to clonk into somebody. So you're a sailboat, you stay with sailboats. You're a motorboat, you go to motorboats, okay? That's important stuff. Different bottoms require different anchors. You can never have too many anchors. Never. The more you have, the better it is, okay? But because I'm sailing a multi-hull and we're a pro and we've got to think about weight, I'm going to go with 2, maximum 3, and one of them is going to be a lightweight anchor. Dig in the hook. Dig the hook in. You got to dig the hook in, man. You can't just drop it overboard and say, okay, let's go have a beer. You got to reverse on it, or you got to sail back on it, or you got to do whatever you got to do, and you got to make sure that hook has dug in, okay? If possible, dive on it, okay? Take compass bearings of landmarks. Write them down in a logbook. So you've dropped your hook, it's bit, it's all good. Now you might as well just take a few bearings and find exactly where you are, so you know you're always there, okay? You might swing a little bit to here, a little bit to there, but you'll still roughly always be where you were, okay? There can't be that much big differences if you're taking a bearing with your compass of something that's a few hundred meters away from you. You will roughly still be there, okay? Take bearings always. Take 2 bearings. You at 90 degrees is the best if you can. Yes, if you can't, then take whatever you can. And write that stuff down in a logbook, okay? It's important stuff. In windy conditions, 1 to 5 is better. 1 to 7 is even better. And you can put out more. If you feel that it's getting very strong and it's big waves and they're bouncing and the bow is bouncing, then let out more. It doesn't matter anymore. If you're not going to hit something behind you, the more you let out, the better it is. You must feel confident. If you don't feel confident, something is wrong. Okay, people? So that's what it is. So then I come out of there because over here there's people on anchor. So I'm going to do that too. Now I've anchored quite a lot and I know how to anchor. I've anchored in pool. So me, I'm doing that, yeah. So I do that right there. And the anchor bites. Oh yeah, it's bitten. It's not going nowhere. It's all good. And I'm there. Now, because I'm new in the business, this is my first month ever be owning a boat and cruising, and I'm the captain. Now, you know, you don't know everything. You basically don't know nothing, to be honest. So what I do is, I don't know the tides over here so much. Yeah, it's getting interesting, eh? I don't know how much is the tide over here. I know that in pool it was like 2 meters or something. I don't know how much there was over there. 2 or 3. It was small. It was a little one. You have to take that into account too when you're throwing the hook, man. Doesn't matter how much you're in now. It matters how much is the maximum that it goes, okay? And then according to that, you're going to do your calculations, okay? Especially if it's blowing stiff outside. It was blowing, okay? It was blowing force 5, 6. It was blowing. So me, I'm here. I'm out. There's a yacht out there next to me. Small cruiser from England. And I see that he's got a nylon rope coming off his bow. Why? Because he's smarter than me. So he flew out. I don't know how much he flew out. He probably flew out 100 meters or something. I don't know how much he flew out. But he was probably connecting and flying out, you know, because he knows what he's doing. But what do? I drop the full 35 meters of chain I have. I just put the whole thing in. Because I look on the chart and I don't remember what I did. I didn't even look on the chart, I think. I just went there and I just dumped the bloody thing and I just said it'll be okay. But I didn't know that the tide over here is ridiculous. It was like a 6-meter tide or something. I don't remember what it was. It was something astonishing. You don't understand this until you see it, okay? South side of the English Channel is huge tides. North side of the English Channel is small tides. That's because of, I don't remember, the flow or where it is according to the equator. That's what it is. It's where it is according to the equator. If you go under the equator, then it will be the north side big and the south side small. But over here, so when you always have channels going east-west, anywhere you go in the world, if there's a channel going east-west, you watch out for high tide, low tide. Depends on which side you are of that channel. Watch out, okay? Because there will be differences. So over here it's ridiculous, and it's like 1,000,000 meters over here, but I don't know that. So, okay, I'm hanging out in the boat, and the force is strong. This is proof. And at one point, you know what happens? I hear somebody shouting at the outside of the boat. He's not shouting, but I hear a motorboat next to me, and something's happening there, knocking on the boat. I don't know what they're happening. Because I'm here. But that is exactly how the ferry, that's his way out. This is not there. Okay, we changed Sarajevo, now we'll Cherbourg. The ferry, when he wants to come out, he comes out through here. That's his channel. You're allowed to park here. But me, because I'm so smart, I'm dragging anchor. And I'm dragging anchor, because it's high tide now, and I'm in the ferry's channel by now. But I'm hanging out inside the boat reading a book. I'm so lucky that the guys of the Marina guys, they came by in a dinghy, in a Marina dinghy, in the Cherbourg little dinghy thing. And he came, and he tells me, you're in a ferry channel, what you doing here? I tell him, what do you mean? I'm dragging anchor, man. And like, I got stressed out because you know what? The locks were 50 meters behind me, and I'm going towards them. I don't know what it would have taken, another 5 minutes, another 10, and I would have been on those locks. I would have smashed up my engine because there was a Honda outboard on the stern. I would have smashed up my rudder. I would have probably blown a hole in the stern. I would have smashed the boat. Okay? Because you're on the locks with your stern on your locks because the anchor's pulling and you're going reversing onto those locks. So I started up the engine and I head ahead and I went forward and then I just got out of there and then I started pulling up the chain while Zhenya was driving around in circles and I don't know what we were doing, but I wanted to get away from these locks because I was on them almost. And then we went back in the marina and we paid for another 1 or 2 nights. And that was it. Now, and Zhenya got really afraid of flying the hook ever since, but because I never forgive myself for mistakes that I've done, I go into them deeply. And over the next winter, so we kept on sailing. It was a wonderful summer. I made a few more mistakes, but it's all good. And then the next winter, I learned how to anchor. I really read everything I could, and I wanted to learn as much as I could about anchoring. and I've never dragged an anchor since, never ever. But I do my bearings and I check where I am, and I use compasses to find my positions, and if I have to float 2 off the bow, then I'll float 2 off the bow. If I have to float 1 off the bow and 1 off the stern, I'll float 1 off the bow and 1 off the stern. And you can never have too many anchors. That will be the conclusions of today. You can't have too many anchors, you can't have too much load, and you got to know what to use when, and you got to put a good effort into it. It is science. You mess up on your anchorage, then you go to town because you went out to Bucky Bucks. Okay, so let's say you were intelligent like me, and you parked your boat the way I used to at this particular harbour, Cherbourg, and I went to Bucky Bucks, and I'm hanging out in Bucky Bucks, yes. And the guy, and there's no ferry channel over here, and there's no guy to come to save me. When I come back from Bucky Bucks, my boat's on the rocks, in pieces. That can ruin your day. That will totally destroy your day. I'm sure it will. So, anchoring is the most fun thing there is. I love anchoring. I did the whole Medin bays. I did the whole Mediterranean using only bays because I couldn't afford marinas, man. I just can't. I mean, like, marinas are so bloody expensive, man. I don't know why. What do they think? I don't know what they think. I don't know why they have to be so expensive. So I don't know. So I just do bays all the time, and I use the hook, and I've never had a problem ever since. But I also dive down on my anchors, and I do all kinds of stuff. Okay. And anchoring is serious stuff, people. So put everything you got into it and enjoy it. Go to bays. Leave marinas. Why do you need marinas, man? Why do you need marinas with their dirty water and all that stuff? They can stay, you know. You go to the bay. But get set up on your ground tackle real good. Okay? So that's it. Guys, the force is strong. Keep shunting, eh? Taking off. Balkan Shipyards. Guys, learn the stuff, go over the stuff. There's a lot more to anchoring than what this was just the tip of the iceberg. Please go into it with further detail, and I wish you the best bays, people. I wish you the best anchoring. I wish you the best sundowners. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you have the smoke, you have your drink, the sun's going down, and you're on the hook, and maybe there's another boat, maybe you're all by yourself, and you dive off that boat, and you just go for a swim, and you go off into the sunset, and you turn around, you come back, and you have your supper, and you go to sleep, and you wake up in the morning, and you have your coffee, and you open up your chart, and you head out of there, people. I wish you the best, eh? Anchoring is everything, people. May the force be with you. Guys, your support is the wind that drives our sails. Find Balkan Shipyards at patreon.com or click on the link in the bottom in the descriptions below. Join Balkan Bay Sailing School. There we will share our dumbest sailing mistakes and our fourth build. Floor 1 Force 213. May the force be with you. Keep shunting, guys. Balkan Shipyards.